Alright everyone, welcome back to the IndyCar series presented by Sabai Technology. I'm your host, Tyler Mills, aka Millsy, and we are here with round 5 of the IndyCar series. We are at the IndyCar, or Indy Road Course at Indianapolis. 14 turns, and lots of action. Short field this evening, which is a little bit disappointing as we get to this point of the season. But we have some of the top drivers still around and competing for first place in points. So that's going to be the big story of this evening as we move forward. We have the top 4 actually who are competing this evening, who are in practice right now. They are running very close, and they are the up there in the top 4 in points. So going to be an exciting race that way. Let's look over at the course. I think we have 81 laps. 81 laps this evening of the Indy Road Course. Look out for passing opportunities into turn 1 and turn 12, as well as turn 7 in the middle there, as we run in a clockwise formation for this evening's race. Very tight and twisty racing. Not a lot of overtaking opportunities, but if you line yourself up correct, you never know what can possibly occur. So obviously we have the 2 tire selections, which are the alternate and the primary. Alternate running. It's a bit softer, but it's faster in the primary, which is the more hard but durable tire. Obviously, as we all know by this point, if you are a continued watcher of the series, that Project Cars 2 has a very big glitch, visual glitch, that does not show you the primary tire if you can also race with the alternate. All you see is the red striped alternate tire, so something to look out for as we move on. As we talk about the beautiful Indy road cars, we'll talk about the dollar IR12. This is the Honda version, number 98 Andretti Herta Autosport road going Indy car. Obviously, the specs on all of the road cars are top speed of 200 miles an hour, 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds, 740 horsepower, and just weighing short of 1,600 pounds. No ABS, no traction control for our drivers to make these cars extra difficult, and 10 push to pass usages in the race formation. No, I don't think they are available in qualifying or practice, so prepare for some interesting qualifying times. As yeah, round 5, an exciting round it is. Back at India's, we were just here just 2 weeks ago. So as we look a little bit towards our point standings for this event, here's the points breakdown. As per usual, I show before every event we have the Lord Dragon KD Award, which is awarded to our pole position driver as we are getting prepared for qualifying here. We do follow the IndyCar Series point schedule, which is on the left, not schedule, but the discussion of points. So as you can see, lots of points available tonight, as the race series leader is actually here, but second place is not. So opportunity for some teams to make up some ground here, or some drivers to make up some ground here in the series, with a good event tonight, especially with there only being 7 drivers, which is a little bit disappointing for our field. Some of these drivers have a good opportunity to make it back up. Usually a lot of the of our regulars are here this evening, so as per usual, we're seeing those guys. And let's look at the round 5 point standings. So this is after 4 rounds. We have Frank, a commanding lead, especially since Racer Stu has not arrived this evening. Unknowing if he's going to be here. He's not in the practice session at the moment, but we have seen him make a late appearance. Unknown if he's going to be able to make it here. So a good opportunity to see some other drivers like Ratha. Ratha sitting in 4th, 1 point behind Dio for 3rd. He is running very well right now. We're going to see if he has the ability to maybe take a very good win here, as he's running very closely with Ozzy, the rest of the field actually in general. Very close knit field for top 4. As also we look more down, we have Doc Slap making another appearance up there in 8th. He has the opportunity to catch up with F1 Racer. F1 Racer is here though, so you're looking. Actually, the majority of our top 8 drivers are here this evening. The majority of the rest of the drivers that are here are not, so kind of disappointing to see. But a lot is going on this evening, as we see our drivers starting to slowly make their grounds, running their quality times, as the majority of the times I've seen so far are would definitely be in the quali formation. As we jump, let's jump over to right to the gameplay. Let's get you a little bit of audio from the beautiful sounding Project Cars 2. As we see Doc take a spin there, jumping a little bit of the curbs. Definitely have to be wary of the curbs here at the Indy road course. They are very high, and they will take out your car very, very, very easily. So as we begin to get down to that, let us jump back in with broadcasting. I have both co-callers here this evening. We have both Freak Velocity and Lesson this evening. Good evening, gentlemen.
Hey,
Hello.
how are you?
I didn't even know you were, like, doing your thing right now, Lindsay.
I
thought you were just gone.
very quick and very on it. I am this evening.
Pretty good, very good.
Well, good to have you guys here. As we get things rocking and rolling. A minute left here, practice. It looks to be a very qualify-esque pace from the top four, I would think. There's a
As
big
expected.
gap. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that last race too. We're gonna likely have a two groups, pace-wise. This is pretty common.
Yes, there he is. And I don't know, maybe our bottom 5 through 7 drivers. Obviously, you're not driving this evening, as you are up here with us. So, bottom 3 drivers look to be almost running maybe a race pace. Maybe they're hiding away their qualifying pace times. Maybe you never know. But definitely, Ratha and Frank are just exchanging blows here at practice at the end of right at the end of practice with 20 seconds remaining. Ratha goes once again fastest and dominating fast, 109.196.
So I can say confidently, I know Ratha's pace and Power's pace are definitely hidden. Their time trial times in these cars, they ran low 108s both.
Wow, well, hidden away they are then, as we see practice coming in. We'll head over to qualifying. And a point up for grabs before the race even begins, obviously, with the Lord Dragon KD Award. That shall be handed out to our fastest qualifier for this evening. As we see the field, interesting to hear 108s, but again, you gotta think about that of qualifying pace and race pace. Very big difference here. And we'll see who's going to be able to manage those tires. I do not have any information on tire strategies or tire lengths or how long tires are going to be lasting for this event. So,
all I know is alternates are not going to last.
Oh no.
Alternates are going to get chewed up.
So we have a short-lasting alternate bet. Big question is who's going to play that strategy. Obviously, we're looking 10 laps, maybe, I would think, in and around a 10-lap stint for those red striped, or am I thinking more, maybe? We have 81 laps, aka 80 laps, with CanAm VRL's manual lap at the beginning.
Formation lap?
Formation lap, thank you. Words are disappearing from my head as I speak them. As we're going to see what is this, top 3, I'm assuming, in the series. We do it by points. Everyone quiet to get out here. So we're seeing Ozzy, Ratha, and Frank out first for their 15 minutes. You'd probably cut this a bit shorter, but again, 15 minutes of the practice sessions as we begin here. Hopefully audio is okay as per usual. Up a little bit, but I just want to make sure you guys are as well. So, as I've been watching practice a little bit, it seems like the curbs are not your friend here.
Yeah, it depends on.
Yeah, you
area
gotta
of
be
the
careful
track.
with them for sure.
Yes, they seem to be, especially here as we see Frank go through turn 7-8-esque area, if I'm correct at looking at my track map. Why is 3 not working? Okay. What is going on here? Oh, my numlocks got turned off. Fantastic. Uh-oh. most likely. As we have some technical difficulties here. Oh no, I might have really broken something. I have no availability of changing my scene all of a sudden. As we continue on, as we're getting flying around, Frank does 143.1. I'm pretty sure that's an outlap. I don't know why his got counted compared to the other two's, but we will disregard that. That's definitely not pace here. Short track, very quick. 3 overtaking opportunities, really. If you call them overtaking opportunities, I think turn 12 I wouldn't consider an overtaking opportunity, but if you do really dive it in, maybe catching down the inside, there's an opportunity. Turns 1 and turn 7, which are the two straights, are going to be your best opportunity for these drivers to really see what they can do. Turn 1, hopefully not going to be as chaotic as I remember Long Beach turn 1 going or being, so we'll see how everyone holds up into T1. As an interesting thing, which I was a little surprised about, we do not have Stu here this evening. Did we ever hear a reason for his disappearance, or is no show this evening? Ooh, this is true. Being the one British driver on the lineup does mean you're running a little bit there, as Ratha takes a very small lead here in qualifying with a 109.584. Frank barely behind him with a 109.6. Aussie 110, and then Power not an actual lap completed yet as he goes into T1 there in the background. I just get on board with Power as he does his flying lap here. Thank you very much. Through the chicane that's not a chicane, but is a chicane. Okay, so I'm hoping that's fixed it. Oh, yeah, I fixed it. Okay, perfect. Apologies. I wanted to look at the track map. I was right. Turn 7 is... So turn 1 and turn 7, highlighted at the end of the major straights here, are going to be the overtaking opportunities. Turn 12, if you get lucky, out of turn 10. If you can get a good run out of turn 10, always opportunity for you to probably jump in down the inside. Frank. Ooh. Oh, for sure. So I think we just saw a late entry. I think Dio has just appeared into the TeamSpeak, which means he's most likely appearing. So we'll have another driver joining us here shortly. Yes. As Power runs a 109.7 for what looks to be the final lap here in this event. And Ratha goes faster with a 108.9, kind of throwing away the fact that we've already heard that their pace is very fast here. Or his pace, sorry, is very fast. I have had yeah, Yeah, since the major bug here in Project Cars 2, that's very frustrating for commentators. I've had no conversation or abilities to speak with anyone, so we're kind of all in the dark here. We're gonna see what the first pit stop looks like. As I assume most will probably start on that alternate tire, get that best speed off the line, off the start of the race here. Never have I ever driven anything else. Think the only other, I think the only other, I don't think I have. The only other game that gives another layout is R Factor 2, and I never really drove the older layouts. So I never know. I've seen pictures of them. That's about it. I haven't really seen any action from them. But this layout, especially since Indies run here every year, obviously you have the Indy Road Course race for IndyCar. And I'm assuming this is the most up to date one. It looks flowing. I think you obviously have some of the late apex corners of sector 1, then the chicane. I think the chicane, if you get the chicane right and keep your setup proper where you can run over those bumps, you can keep a lot of time down. And also but for the most part, very windy, very twisty. I'm here nor there on it, since I don't really race it. I've never really raced it before, so I don't really know, but, yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Ah, yes, I think I saw some a picture of that one. Haven't really driven it, but I don't. No, if I have no clue. Ah, as just to get back to what we've got, just under 4 minutes remaining here in qualifying for our first half of the field. It's Frank gearing up for another flyer. Second place, only down by a little over a tenth. Your co-commentator is very quiet and can't really hear him. Again,
Which one?
oh wait, I think I just figured out why, because OBS is freaking out on me. It turned down the desktop audio. It turned down the desktop audio all the way. Oh, well, there's our problem. Thank you, Rapid.
We need to work on your audio settings.
My audio settings are fine.
No. I mean, there's a way that you can actually split your Discord audio from your normal desktop audio. So you can manually set your game audio at one level and your other speakers at a certain level.
Yeah, I just don't understand how OBS just turned that all the way down. That's weird. I wonder if like numlock changes it. We're not gonna play that game, but thank you for that update, Rapid. No clue. As Franco's faster by 1/1000th of a second.
Wow.
That's a 1:08.981. This is gonna be all on Ratha to catch it back up.
Oh my god, that time difference though, man. I really wonder if Power's got something lurking yet. I know he's got the potential.
Looks like he went a little bit wide through there. I don't know if you have to or not, but Ratha's not coming back out. So that's interesting to see.
How much time does he have left in his,
He
like,
has
2 minutes?
Just
Yeah, he's got enough
2%.
time for this lap and one more.
So interesting to see what's going on in Ratha's head here as Power's coming flying down to the line. No improvements from Power. As by the sounds of it, Ratha has just appeared back on track. Very respectable leg. And the hot lap driver get on track and through. Good driver etiquette. Good driver etiquette. Big thumbs up. It's not clipping, Power doesn't really clip that chicane as much as Frank does, which might be part of the difference maker here, actually. I've seen both the top two drivers clip that chicane very heavily in their qualifying laps here. But oh, Power going a bit wide. That's gonna be it.
Yeah. That
is
chicane, you would be surprised. You actually, like, you can hit that one pretty hard and hardly even feel it.
So we're gonna have to jump off board with Rath. This is his out lap at the moment, trying to get the most out of his tires here, getting prepared as he comes out onto it, out onto the finish straight. This is gonna be important for him to get a really good run here.
Oh, on board. Oh, that's
That is definitely not on board. That is on board.
No, it says on board on the camera view. So I
Oh,
just
that's
clicked it
already the end of his lap.
Yeah.
Unless that is how you run it.
Yeah, it depends.
Well, that right-hand curve looks like it just wants to kill you every time you go near it.
It's actually not that bad. I got both my wheels up on the top of it, and I handled just fine on it. That was one of the few spots that I actually could. This was the spot that I was talking about people wiping out, though, by the way, Mosey. Those 2 corners right there.
That's it. That is it.
Yep.
All right, in the first split, Franco's fastest by 1/1000th of a second. Congratulations to him. See if anyone in the bottom half of the field has the ability to catch that time. That is a blistering time, and from our practice sessions, the only big question mark and potential threat sits with the man on screen, which is Dio. I haven't seen a time from him yet since he jumped in at qualifying. So we'll see if we have a quick 5-minute break. Before we
hop
see
back on Eve.
everyone gets on track.
Milsey, do we have any points battles that are close, I should say?
Rafa and Dio separated by a point. Power and Ozzy separated by a point. And for people who have showed up, that is it.
Nice.
Everyone that is racing this evening is this is racers 1 through 8 in the championship. Racers 9 through 26 have, well, again, 2 of them are not driving because they're up here with me, but haven't seen any driver. I have not seen Glasnost. Have not seen. She's Tex here. Actually, Tex is here. So
Texas here.
I should take that back. Tex is down in 10th place, so he's easily going. He could crash out right now. Might not even start. He still is going to outscore Glasnost because Glasnost is not here. Yeah, we have not seen anything from the likes of Jizut, a Rapid Amplifier 2112. Actually, 2112 was at Road America, which means he's only scored 38 points then. I'll do some double checking on that. We have, and then yeah, we haven't seen anything from Anamera, Maximus, Eraserhead, Kaladin, Nurik, Pwnecakes, Chenga, Chef, and Harusi at all this season. So, super disappointing from the 26 drivers that were scheduled to compete. We're only seeing maybe 10 or 11 of them. Like, I count you guys out because you guys obviously have no ability. Well, you could miss, but you're being nice and helping me out here as we. I think this 5-minute break is not necessary, in my opinion. I think we keep it spinning and shorten up qualifying a little bit, but that's why I sit up here in the commentary booth and not down there making the rules. But definitely, I think the 5 minutes of waiting, unless there's something going on that I don't know about. Do you guys know? Is there anything really talked about during this time, or it? Well, this is just a this year thing, isn't it? Or this season thing.
This particular season, yes.
The break?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we did it before.
Did we?
Well, yeah, but that was a split of classes.
Classes, yeah, but there's always been like it's not been split by points, no, but there's always been split of some sort.
True.
The reason
Yes.
Were you asking for the reason of why we split it?
No.
No,
I'm asking for the reason of why it's 5 minutes long, because we could shorten and make it 2.5. And I do understand the whole point of let's let everyone get off track, but once you cross that finish line, you hit escape or whatever button you have selected on your wheel, maybe, and you're instantly back on the pits. You don't have to do that cooldown lap. So
I don't know, but
I think
ultimately it's not too big of a deal either. So.
No, but it does keep the flow of the broadcast moving.
Agreed.
Keeps the action on track as we sit here and stare at Dio in his ABC Honda, Panasonic Honda. I don't know what whoever the main sponsor on that car is, but we patiently wait for
ABC,
30 seconds.
ABC, yes. Well, about another half a minute or so, and we will see what the back half has.
Definitely gonna be interesting fight here. As I slowly lose my voice. Fantastic. But none the less. There we go.
Oh, I hear engines.
Getting prepared to go. The first one on track in our second stage of qualifying is Dio. Number 14 ABC Honda. Already kicking up dirt is Dio on the out lap as he's flying away. Dio's always been known as one of the faster drivers here, or at least that I'm aware of. I remember last season he was very quick. So, he always likes to put on a show, good old Dio. We see him gearing up, getting up onto the straight. Let's see what he's got. Actually, Joey, I know exactly why my Discord and the PC audio go through the same thing.
Why?
Because they're both set to go through my headphones. So I can hear. So they use the same
audio source.
audio source.
Gotcha.
I'm pretty sure you have to do some technical stuff to make it happen. As I have no clue where Dio ended up. As we didn't see him cross the line.
He's at 112.
112 too. Yeah. Left one racer on his own lap, bit wide and misses the apex and finds the dirt. Definitely be running another one as he goes. You know, 112 as well.
Left for Tom.
Yeah, your headphones are weird.
What do you mean?
I don't mean that in a bad way, like obnoxious. Just like that's weird that it acts like that. Audio technical.
Oh, rip.
What? What'd you do?
I had it on you. What were you talking about? My mic being messed up though? Like, what was it doing?
Well, no. Sometimes I can. When you, it sounds like when your availability for your audio kicks out, like so you can hear things. Your mic picks up me talking to you. It's like you
That's so weird.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. Like I just heard it there because you like TeamSpeak activated your mic.
I've noticed that myself.
So
These mics are this microphone is. I might buy some new.
Not a big deal.
You should look at HyperX. That's what Shroud uses now. So.
I might look at some Sennheisers.
Big fan of my Logitechs, so.
What? What'd you say?
I'm a big fan of my Logitechs.
Yeah.
Right. They're comfortable. And they fit my head pretty well. There are other headphones that I would have preferred to get, just based on design, but I have a relatively small head, so a lot of headphones tend to be quite loose, no matter what I do to them.
Well, I've had these headphones for 4 years, so I'll stick with Astro for all of my headphone needs. These are the ones you got me, Joey. Way back when.
The Astros?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never had an issue with them in 4 years now.
Well, my Astros just fell apart.
Oh yeah, you've had yours for a long time.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd ever go to Turtle Beach. I always look at those two as the main, but there's more
once you go
competitors
Astro,
out
it's
there.
really hard to go the other.
Yeah. Which confused me why Optic went with
It's a
Turtle.
pretty decent grouping here at the back half of the field.
We got good grouping on both the
Barely.
front half and back half.
Yeah.
Doing decently within each other. Hopefully we'll see some racing then this evening.
X is only a tenth and a half off of Tom. I don't see Dio's not showing up on this app thing.
Dio's in 5th. Ran at 1:11.5.
Oh, okay. His name doesn't show up on the thing. Maybe I need to refresh this page.
Oh, it's gonna be a bit frustrating for Dio. Doc goes way wide. And then Dio tries to take advantage of that to get onto his hot lap. And then Doc kind of cuts back on track. Which I think left Dio in a pretty bad spot there. He's probably gonna have to go flying out again. As we wait patiently, let's see what else is on track here. Anything else? Joey. Oh, there we go. Thank you. I'm gonna
Yep, sorry.
start
I'm
yelling
on,
at you in a second.
No, I'm set like 4 different screens right now, so.
Tech's looking to improve on his time. Does a little bit actually. Does improve by what looks to be
about 400s or so.
4. Yeah, seems to be so. See, everyone's still just getting their qualifying times in, staying on little docks, and if he can improve and get closer to Tex here.
I think it's actually kind of reassuring to see that between 1st and 5th, there's not even 2 seconds between them. Well, there's just a little over 2 seconds, sorry.
Patiently wait. Let's check up on Dio. Still seeming to be out of check.
Yep, he's just about to hit the front stretch right now. He's got.
I think we're here to play. How is my mic for you guys though? Is it like decent?
Yeah, it's fine.
Quality? Okay.
Yeah.
I love Astro, but I feel their audio quality's not, or their microphone quality's not like the best. But worked. Big cuts on the curbs and the chicane is Dio. Could see some improvement from that. Going very wide into turn 7. Trying to get that best exit into the twisty S. The long right-hander of turn 10 down, turn 11 and 12. Using part of the Indy track itself, getting as wide as he can, gets down and goes wide. No improvement on that time unless he's not put in a good lap before, which I'm pretty sure he has. But as he gets prepared to, he does actually improve. 1:11.4. Interesting to see that getting on the grass is improving people's times here. As he's lagging on my camera, my screen. Was he on yours? Joey?
Yeah, he's on my field.
No, was he lagging?
Oh, I don't know. I wasn't looking at the screen.
Okay, he's lagging for me.
He's not lagging for me.
Okay, keep an eye on that kind of thing. Brakes very late.
Be right back. You're gonna watch Dio for a moment.
Okay, sounds good. Ooh, a little oversteer in the exit of turn 10. Now into turn 11 here. Let's see if he can improve on that. If he can stay off that grass, he has a lot of time to make up, and he can definitely get in close as he's still catching that grass, and that is the end of Dio there. Is he gonna stay? He seems to be staying with it. Tires are gonna be melting at this point on quality pace. He's flying down the main straight here at Indy.
Back.
Those two are probably a little closer than they'd like here in qualifying. Oh.
You know, I'm sure Tom is happy now.
Yeah.
much clean air for F1 Racer 68. Actually,
Man, this would
very
have been an
nice.
awesome race for Stu to be here. We're really close front.
Yeah, I feel very bad for Stu. Maybe he'll show up in the dying seconds.
I doubt it.
He's probably dead asleep.
It's like 4 in the morning or something like that for him right now, I think.
We're at 11, 12, and 4 hours after that, yeah. 4 a.m. for Stu.
Oops, I just turned off my monitor. Unhooking my wheel, because I clearly do not need that right now.
As F1 moves, I can't tell if that's an improvement. I think that is an improvement.
I think so.
From,
Small one, albeit, but an improvement nonetheless.
He moves up from, I think he was actually behind Tex. Not 100% sure though. We have 50 seconds remaining. All the drivers getting back out on track. I think Tex has shut her down as there's no time for another lap for him at this point. He's still in the pits. Will not make it around. Oh, that's wide. Right up on the banking. A little bit of locking up there. It looks like a time improvement. Very smooth around these corners. Now it's just a straight shot to the line. See if he can catch Dio here. As we see another improvement for F1, and he's now broken into the 111s. Especially Doc, who had just finished up a flying lap. Qualifying complete. This is everyone's last lap here. F1 retains 6th spot here, unless we have some flying lap here from Doc. This looks like F1's still pushing hard, trying to,
Well, Doc's already got 7th from Tex with that last lap.
yeah. Doc is nice and comfortable there. Oh, and that's unless he can keep that. It actually looks easily dealt with and smooth. Nice line, very tight. I think he could probably use a bit more track. He gets. Oh no, he is coming into the pits. That is F1 Racer done and over with. Let's see if we can jump aboard another driver here. Oh no, everyone's come across the line. An F1 Racer has a penalty. That might be trouble for him. That actually might be a lot of trouble for him. It's highlighted with a penalty. As congratulations goes to Frank. Another Lord Dragon KD award. That is actually just popping up on screen now. F1 Racer 68 has been awarded a 1 grid place penalty for, I'm assuming, speeding in the pit lane. Right there at the end there. So I gotta be a bit careful. Project Cars 2 takes no friendlies into account for this one, especially the server owner or server runner. But not in this situation. That's actually you, Joey. But anyway. As we know...
I was muted. Hi.
Yeah, of course you were.
I don't know what you said, by the way.
That's
So,
fine.
I just heard my name. That was all.
Yeah. As definitely congratulations goes to Frank, the Lord Dragon KD winner, twice now this season, by 1/1000th of a second. So the question is, who has the better race setup? That's gonna be the big question. Who's gonna be able to perfect? Who's gonna be able to optimize their run into T1? This is gonna be the big thing. Ratha, if he gets a, because obviously with a CanAm BRL, Really distracted there. The CanAm VRL starts are up to Frank. He says green, green, green. Probably in those start boards are most likely where we're going to see that happen. That Project R2 is nicely put in. As we see, this is going to be the formation lap. Everyone is sinking away. As Lesson actually just gets to not move and pull over and shut her down. As, of course, Frank gets the opportunity to stay green, green, green. He goes. Question is, can Ratha keep himself prepared for that? Ratha's doing very weird things on my screen. He's gliding, which is not fantastic. But that is what he is doing at the moment. But yeah, Ratha can, since this is gonna be side by side, see if he can actually hold himself into turn 1. And if he does, he's gonna have that inside, a good run for that inside line. Gotta be careful though. Make sure you get yourselves in the mirrors or up on the side of Frank, because he's got to turn into that corner too. So that's going to be an interesting one. I've seen both these drivers very good. Ratha, a rookie, both rookies. Frank seems to be a bigger veteran of sim racing. Ratha's only been involved in sim racing for now 6 months, but has had real life racing experience, if I'm correct. We talked about this last time. I don't know if he, I think I was right?
Who?
Ratha's had real racing experience?
Oh, I'm entirely unsure.
No, we had this discussion last time, and I think we were the same way. But, now this is going to be very, very important. We got to let everyone get all nice and close. Here, as Frank is preparing to go 80 laps of Indy, he's got to slow down a bit. He's got to really slow down a bit. Ooh, Frank.
Yeah.
And away we go, I guess. Definitely was not double formation lined up at all. Actually quite poor for the way it's supposed to work, but we're clean into T1, it looks like. Oh, a bit of a bump, or on my screen a bump, not sure. The rest look like they've gone through nice and clean techs. Doc signal plays off F1 off the start. And Dio's sitting comfy. It looks very slow at the... Or is that just my screen? Once again, it looks like it's gone laggy on my end. Just kind of gliding over the track. But definitely, this is the battle to pay attention to. These two are very good as someone locks up. I think that was Frank locking up into T7. That's going to be the overtaking corner between these two. We'll see who's got the ability to do it. Ooh, very close. Really close. Very close for Ratha there. Almost finding the grass, and that would have really put him at a disadvantage. As the last time we saw Indy, it was the Indy 500, and we saw Frank. Ooh, Doc goes off. Way wide. And turn 12. Yeah, last time we saw Frank here, Indy, I'm seeing cars literally glitching all over the track. Oh boy. Frank got a commanding victory at the Indy 500. Let's see if he has the ability to repeat here. We're going to see Ratha finally put it in win. Oh wait, no, he won last time. Never mind. That's my lack of knowledge, my lack of remembering.
Your lack of a memory?
It seems to be that way. As down to turn 7, this could be the opportunity. Frank goes for the defensive line.
I wonder if he's going to get it.
And there goes Ratha for the outside. Can we get the speedometer? Oh, they touch a little bit of tapping. Speedometer up to see push to pass. And yes, Ratha has already used 2. He needs to be a bit more defensive with those, as there's a lot of race left. Oh, he's going a bit wide. He's got to get back on the track.
Frank has used none.
Frank has used none. Very aggressive usage of the push to pass by Ratha early. Maybe see if he get that best opportunity. He could have an opportunity to run it down here, but he's a bit too far. I'd probably advise waiting if I'm going to use another one, but we shall see. Driver uses it. He's going to push to pass once again. Very aggressive use of the push to pass by Ratha here. He's way too far back to get any sort of slipstream.
Just an FYI, F1 Racer went wide on the exit of, I believe it's 10, and Dockstock was able to go by in 12 in the 6th position.
Okay, perfect.
Still holding on to it.
Perfect. As Ratha quickly closes back the door from a 2nd to 6/10. Really late on the brakes of those two. Very close to the
He's
edge.
really pushing to close the gap.
Yeah, very quickly. It seems like, as same as kind of Formula 1, these cars getting close together sometimes, the aero wash is going to knock them off. There seems to be the case here as Ratha quickly closing that gap once again. As the gaps at the back sort of start to spread a little bit. As, oh, both drivers go wide. Dockstop almost loses it on the exit there as like Dio has to, oh no, that is Tex has to lock his brakes up there to avoid slamming into the back of F1 Racer. The closeness continues up front between the two fighting for the lead. Very, very close. Kind of exchanging times here. Very close. Ratha running a faster lap. As can we quickly get up to Ratha, please? As it looks like Frank's actually made a mistake because that was a 6/10 gap, and now it's down to literally almost nothing again. These two are going to be throwing punches left, right, and center all race long. Most likely we'll see who has the better pit stop strategy and who can hopefully utilize their push to passes a little bit better. I think maybe Ratha trying to make sure that Frank can't escape his grasp too early and see if maybe he can cause a little bit of a disturbance in
he's using another push to pass.
He is using another, but he has the opportunity here down this straight. This could be it right here. Getting right up. Oh, actually not as close as he's actually topping out the IndyCar there. Oh, looks like Frank a little deep into the corner there. And it's going to have Ratha all over the back of this. Very, very close to these two. This is a big question mark here. Who's going to have the better run through the curve? And it looks like Ratha's going to have that opportunity right here. No push to pass usage, so nothing too much.
Ratha's actually wide in the back right now.
As he's big stab at the outside line.
Right,
very good defense from leader Frank. This is the driver, like say, two rookies of the series or of the league, throwing their punches together. Ooh, like Frank, a bit slow out of T12 there, which gave Ratha an opportunity. This is another opportunity if Ratha can get right on the back of him early. He's using another push to pass. He's very, very aggressive using of the push to pass.
Which is very different from what he was last race. He's had 8 of them up until the last couple of laps, if I recall correctly.
No, Ratha, once again, at Road America was very aggressive with them. I'm pretty sure Ratha only had 4.
I don't think either of them were.
As, I don't think the push to pass is helping Ratha in the long straight. I think your opportunity here, this is going to be your opportunity to use that push to pass to maybe make that opportunity happen, because they're both topping out their IndyCars here. I think Rafa's gone for a very short throw of the years, only 300 kilometers an hour.
Frank has yet to use a single push to pass.
As, oh no, Rafa hits the grass. That's going to really let Frank pull away. But I definitely think Rafa might have almost set his IndyCar up in, like, he's topping out at the halfway point of the straight.
Yeah, but that's using push to pass, mind you.
It is, but let's get on board with Frank then. This one, because this is the important part. We're gonna watch his speedo climb.
F1 just make a really pretty pass on Doc's lap in turn 7 for the 6th spot.
Very good between those two, fighting it up nice and clean. Very good fighting at the back of the back. Nice, clean. That's what we like to hear. But this very interesting because Frank's not even hitting 300 kilometers an hour. It's very interesting. Again, now if you're Rafa, you need to just settle in, keep a nice distance, and look for any opportunity to make it up. Because right now, using your push to passes, and being super aggressive is not the answer. I think Frank very, very fine with his controls. More of a veteran, I think, of IndyCar as well. So gotta be more. You gotta pick your battles, be a little more patient, and you might see an opportunity arise at some point here early. Or try and see if you can snag him in the pit stops, which is always an opportunity. It's just too far back as well. Let's check down with Doc and Tax here, back out 6th and 7th. These two.
Yeah, as you check in on these guys, you're going to notice that F1 Racer has slipped back to the 8th position. He had a spin in turn 7 just one lap after he had a beautiful pass on Doc's lap.
Very unlucky for him. It's going to put him way behind. He's just coming up to turn 12 now as the rest of our drivers are on their way down the main straight. Doc Tech's looking for an opportunity here in that ABC Honda. As Doc was for the defensive line and actually locks up and almost misses T1, somehow stays on the track. Definitely the opportunity to pressure for a mistake now is what Tech's jet needs to do. Mistakes have been coming, as very close as, actually speaking of, Tech's has used 3 push to passes so far.
Yeah, Doc has really been struggling to maintain gap in the turn 1, 2, 3 complex, and it really stems from how shallow he's entering turn 1. He's a good car width off the wall when he starts to make his turn in, and he's really given up a lot there.
Definitely easily missing the important racing line there, especially on the entry to these corners. He definitely needs to either clean that up or it's going to cost him a little bit, especially the Tech's pressuring him this much. As there goes a flying cone. As we see the field slowly starting to spread, except for Doc and Tex and Frank and Rafa. Half the field staying nice and close, the other half kind of falling off pace and or just running their own race right now. Very slow, very slow.
Oh no! Oh man! Are you on that?
Yes,
Yep.
that is not an overtaking opportunity.
Not even
Ever
slightly.
never in.
That
is
was a
it?
complete, like, I don't know if he thought he had it and then tried to abort by going into the grass and then just completely ruined it, or what? Regardless, that was a...
That is not a move that is available ever in racing at that point. That is a single
really
file.
unfortunate for Doc.
That is very single file. I don't think Doc has recorded much damage.
Oh, he has.
Oh, he has.
Oh,
That
he's coming
front
in.
wing, it looks to be damaged. As again, people lagging all over the track.
Yeah, I saw that one.
That promotes F1 from last to 6th place. Here's everyone now officially starts to spread out. New front wing for Tex here. Can we get up to racing, please? Thank you. As Power just kind of staying, actually, interestingly, has slowly cut the gap down to Ratha. So Power, I think he's Power's 5th in points now, has a good opportunity to maybe snag some more if he can just keep within himself, as he's cut the gap down 0.6 in the first sector. No clue, unknowing. Look at that. Power seems to have been nursing his tires, being more appropriate on them, and has now put that gap way down to Ratha, and is now starting to quietly mount a charge. What is this camera? Alrighty. Well, that was very silly Project Cars 2 cameras. That, there's no reason for that camera whatsoever, but anyway. As Tex is still in the pits. So... Alrighty, well that, no, we still have a little bit of a battle here for first if these guys keep themselves within each other. No silly mistakes like TextJet there. I gotta be honest, that line is not that's a single file always. You cannot even attempt an overtaking opportunity. You gotta take the L there. You gotta take that loss. That you have more speed than the driver in front, but you cannot do that. As he aborted and then just absolutely just ran into Doc Slap, who's just trying to keep himself together there, keep a good line, keep a good race, and have it ultimately ruined by a bit of a mistake by Tex. Super disappointing to see for both drivers, as they were, there's one way or another still competing. They were driving to their pace, and see them now having to deal with, probably by the sounds of it, Doc has now dealt with a pit issue, a pit glitch within Project Cars 2. It might time to say glitch with a with a racing sim on Project Cars 2. Yikes! But one way, he did not get service first time through. Yeah, so he had to then go back and pit again, which is now why we see him about two. Beyond the fact, one way or another, field starting to slowly space themselves out as as our top three find their own pace. Perfect. Good information. As we continue here. Looks like Powers kind of slowly fell off the back of Ratha a little bit, or that's just the fact that Ratha's falling off the back of Frank. Oh, Frank going a bit wide actually in the T1. That's gonna maybe open a gate up there for Ratha to come back. As we sit at lap 17, no pit stop so far. So my 10 lap for the soft tires was not correct, which is what most of these guys seem to be running at the moment. Haha. Something that drivers seem to regularly be able to do is find those cones and knock them out of their place. As Frank, once again, Indianapolis Motor Speedway seems to be home for him, as he is just out to a very nice, relaxed lead, keeping within himself, nice out to apexes, nice out to exits. As he's driving an overall clean race as well. The top three in general are running a great race, just a little too spread out for any action to resonate here and start making some things happen. As Wrath is into the pits, actually, with 8.5 liters, which I'm assuming means the tires are ending here, which I can most likely think to the fact of Wrath pushing so hard for the first 7 laps, most likely caused him to melt out those alternate tires and lead to maybe an early pit stop compared to Power, who's just stayed within himself, very calm, cool, and collected, running very nice and clean lines, just doing Power-like things. So we'll see what he's got. So he still has lots of fuel left as well, compared to Rathas. Rathas seems to have fallen down to 5th at the moment. Very quickly spreading out as Ratha finally out of the pits here. What's the max fuel load on one of these? Isn't it 70 liters? So Ratha shortening up, which would make the more sense here. As now he has, I think that looks like a lap car of Doc Slap here. Oh my god! Ratha, who I actually really wanted to see perform well here, especially with all of the abilities he's done, has just been is taken out by Doc Slap for who was not paying attention by looks and not looking at his rear. Well, I guess there is no rear view mirrors in these cars, but there's virtual mirrors in Project Cars too. I know that. So what would have been a top 3 finisher in this event easily is now going to most likely be laps down at the end. How so? But he's a lap car. He needs to get out of the way. I completely understand, but I still am in the fact that that's blue flag racing distance easily. So especially being in last place, he definitely got to just get out of the way on the straight. Would have made things a lot easier. This wouldn't have happened, and everything moves on. We've already had that conversation multiple times this year with F1 Formula One racing, but um, definitely in that situation, um, just gotta get out of the way on the straight. Would have things much smoother. Which is now going to work into Power's favor here. He's going to inherit second place and most likely just have a relaxing event here to perform and drive well. See if he can maybe do Frank in the pits and see how things move forward from here. As we still have 59 laps remaining here to go at round 5 of the IndyCar series presented by Sabai Technology. As third place Aussie pits for his first time. That's exactly what I was. Yeah. Uh, no. You drive the same way you always drive. I'm gonna always disagree with it because it's. But okay. I don't really care because we're gonna continue watching the stream with the broken camera here, staring at the guy waving the green flag, which he's not waving. But definitely, that's definitely not correct in my opinion. So, um, for sure, as we see Power now head into the pits, F1 racers in the pits as well. Frank will now, our leader, is gonna jump into the pits, perfectly running his strategy to the best of his ability, with only 1.7 liters of fuel left to go. No, I honestly don't care. My mind will not be changed on that one. Your lap down, just. As power is looking to come up here, looks to be group of lap cars. Still driving very consistent races. Dio is still out on track. Actually, he's acquired first, but most likely pitting later than the rest. So, as actually Frank gets the pass on. Dio's just falling back all of a sudden. I think Dio might be out of fuel again. Can we get a quick eye on Dio? Can we get a quick eye on Dio? Yeah, he is out of fuel. Man, is that twice now? He's shortened up on fuel. Oh, that's gotta be super frustrating for him. Um, Dio Power has pitted. Dio has retired from the event. Can we get on to another driver, please? Thank you. As I think Power has pitted. I'm pretty sure. If we can get an eye on Power here, let's see this. Yes. No. He has pitted. Oh, hello, Dio. Welcome to the booth. How you doing? Well, what has happened? I just saw you retire. Yes. Very good by F. as we enter lap 30 of 81 for round 5 here at IndyCar Road or Indy Road Course. We have Frank from Power, from Ozzy, from Ratha, from F1, from Tex, and from Doc. So, spread out field. Power trying to keep within himself to stay within Frank, within a competitive time. And then the rest of the field slowly but surely quickly drops off to some big distances between some of the drivers. So, we'll see how it keeps going here. Dude, it's done it again.
Way out.
It's done it again. What is OBS doing to me?
What's happening?
OBS turned off my desktop audio so there was no game audio. That's twice now it's done that. Apologies to the stream. No clue how it happens or why it happens, but randomly right now OBS is cutting my desktop audio to 0. So, much apologies. Thank you, Nurik, for noticing that, because I'm not noticing that. So, that's frustrating. I hope that hasn't been going on for too long, because that would suck. But, much apologies. Sorry to cut you off. Someone was talking, so...
No, that's fine, it's fine. You're the boss around here.
Well... yeah, but... still not a... You were telling something important, I think, so...
It wasn't that important. I was just kind of pontificating over the fact that strategy between all the drivers seems to be wildly different. There isn't really consensus. You don't really see too many coming into the pit at one time. It's usually one or two.
Which usually makes the racing interesting. Can really make especially the second pit stop, I'm assuming might be the last one that between drivers, you never know. But that definitely could make for some interesting finishes, or kind of just keep the field spread out, depending on timings. It's a good thing. It could be a bad thing. We don't know. But it does make it interesting. It was very different to see. Yeah, Ratha really came in early. You came in way too late. Sorry. But yeah. I don't mind the different strategies. It usually creates some interesting racing, but yeah, it really sucks now for at this point, as the smallest gap we have at the moment, about 28 seconds, I think, which is power to Ozzy, or beyond power to Frank.
How far is Frank to Power?
Just about 6. Power's holding them pretty honest here.
I just said that. So, beyond the fact of the 2 leaders, everything back beyond them is quite gapped out.
Well, we will be having a couple pit stops here in the next lap or two. Ratha's sitting on 7 liters. Tex is sitting on 4.5.
I don't know if you're in the chat. No, you're not. Yurick says this kid might be able to help you figure out your fuel numbers for the next one. If you're still here, Dio.
Oh yes, I am here.
Haha.
Now, I think it helps if I actually make it into the pit stall. My
Did you go
holds.
Did you go past it or too short?
Yeah, I went past it. I forgot that it was at the really tight hairpin, kind of like in that S section. I thought it was farther up. It was more like a wide, kind of like sweeping into the pit thing. I forgot it was that little offshoot of the really tight hairpin. So I got down to the front straight, and I'm like, well, how do I get in the pits? Oh no.
Yeah.
And that's entirely my fault, so I can't really complain about it.
Yeah. Definitely just some misfires from within yourself, but again, that does still get you 24 points, which then puts you
Probably around the 4th position. I'm not gleaning too many points off this race.
depending on positioning of Wrath of Power and Ozzy. Wrath is 4th, Power, Ozzy. You might be getting pushed down into 6th if things stay the way they are going.
Yeah, I am expecting this I'm kind of holding out for Sonoma. I'm hoping I can stay near the top 5-ish and then put in a route at Sonoma, one of my stronger tracks of the IndyCar, and see where that lands me. Because I have been inconsistent at best in the last few races.
Because I think Sonoma's actually a double points event, if I remember correctly.
It is. We had Indy 500 be a double points, which Frank won, obviously, and is now eclipsing the field with like a 40-point or so gap, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Just because of Indy.
Yeah, Indy makes a difference here.
Indy makes a big difference here, and a lot of the score sheet or a lot of the standings is because Indy and how that shook up a lot of like Power, Ozzy, myself, kind of got filtered through. Power and Ozzy had that big wreck. They were expected to do very well at Indy, and they got like pity points essentially because they retired almost immediately out of that race.
Oh yeah, Power getting punted at like 150 miles an hour into pit lane. Get that auto disqualification. That just sucks.
Right, and like that's the reality of the game. That is unfortunate. When we ran, CanAm ran a standalone Indy 500 back in May, around the time of the Indy 500. We had about, I believe, 20-ish drivers, and we had the same thing happen. There was a wreck in turn 4, and someone shot down into the pits doing about 150, and bam, instant
DQ
disqualification. There. Yeah. And it is unfortunate that they have that there, but I understand why they have it there. It's not necessarily for the organized leagues like ourselves. It's more for just someone who shows up and just say, hey, I want to run X car, and then they just have a system in place to functionally penalize people who are trying to cheat.
Mm-hmm.
It would be nice if you could turn it off, though.
It would be. Would be nice. This Project Cars penalty system is extremely harsh in all aspects.
And sometimes, and it's not, which is interesting. I've always found it really weird when it's not. There are some corners where it's like you look at the apex of the corner and like you even dream of cutting it that gives you a penalty. And there's some corners you can just do whatever you want, no penalties acquired, whatever.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. Looks like Power had a little bit of a struggle there. I don't know necessarily. I wasn't watching him. He looks like he's fallen back quite a bit there from 6 to about 8 or so seconds.
Correct there. Might be in a bit of an issue as he's falling back even more and quickly. If we can get an eye on Power, please. just to double check he's still alive. Fantastic, okay. We'll hopefully check in. Actually, it looks like he's come right back. Seems to still be alive, but he's all over the place. As it looks like Doc has once again lost it somewhere and has crashed once again.
Yeah, no wing on the front of Doc Slap's car makes for an unhappy race car.
As we once again see the weird camera that they somehow, for some reason, added.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where Ratha lands because of the incident he had with Doc Slap earlier. Due to the fact that he is running the quickest laps by about 5/10. Just slowly but surely.
He just ran a lap 1 second faster than the leader at the moment.
Right. So just based on his inherent pace, it seems like given enough time, he might be able to catch Ozzy for third and maybe even Power if he has an issue. I don't know if he's catching Frank at this point. If Frank runs as clean as he has been running, Frank has been emphatic in his performances lately. Just absolutely dominant in the IndyCar.
Dominant at Indy alone in general.
Yeah, dominant at Indy, but dominant in the last few races as well. I don't think he's finished outside of the top 3 in any race that he has entered, besides maybe Coda. I think he did maybe like 6th or 7th place at Coda, but ever since Coda, he's finished like 1st, 2nd, or 3rd, I believe.
Long Beach? I think
Perhaps Long Beach. He
yeah,
might have missed Long Beach. I'm not sure.
No, he was at Long Beach, but he got tangled up in some unneeded collisions, if I remember correctly.
Oh yes, there was a big accident between Anamara and Frank in the like the infield last little hairpin corner area. I remember this.
Yes, which did throw that to be an issue. I think there was also an issue with Dog Slap. I think there was a Dog Slap broke early or something. Cause I remember Frank speaking about it in the Discord at one point. Way back when, but beyond that, seems to beyond Long Beach. He's really put himself back into contention for. Well, no, he actually is leading, but again, that also is with no help that some of the drivers who are competitive in the series haven't shown up for every race. For example, Stu not being here this evening does leave Frank the opportunity to get even more points, as he doesn't have as much competition in that situation. Less cars on track means more points. So
no doubt, and this was the strategy of my success last season, where towards the end of the season there was a little bit of driver fall off. Towards the beginning, we were running 25, 20-ish size fields, about 8 LMPs and 12 GT3 cars. Towards the end, it was about 6 and 6, 5 and 8, around there. And I was just consistently showing up and finishing well, and that helped me out. So people who show up are rewarded, and unfortunately, life happens. People can't always make it. I know Driz right now is in the Dominican Republic.
Wait, he went from China
something.
to the Dominican Republic?
Driz is all over the place, man. You can't put him. You can't keep that man down. Glasnost, I know, is having some stuff going on today. He couldn't make it. It just comes down to the fact that this is a hobby. People aren't always available to be like, you know what, I'm gonna put off my really important work assignment that I need to do or whatever, and I'm gonna go do some sim racing for 2 hours or 3 hours. So I understand that plays into it, but it's kind of disappointing that some of our main drivers, Anamara, Nurik, I know you're in the chat, Nurik. I see you there. Nurik, Kaladin, Crowhop. I know he showed up the first couple races, but Crowhop has been absent lately. Just a handful of people from our main Cav roster that we've had since a solid 2 years ago, since I joined. Just have been stuff's going on. They just can't make it, or they're I know in some instances people are just kind of burnt out on P cars. So we have smaller fields, and that's kind of the belly of the beast at the moment.
Yeah, the hobby definitely ebbs and flows. There's no doubt about that. Word on the street is Crow is actually done with sim racing altogether.
I wouldn't say that. That man has an itch that he needs to scratch. So I don't think he's done with sim racing.
It's baseball right now.
Yeah, well, he does play that quite a bit. And I will say that Ozzy is in the pits just now. I'm watching him entering the pits with 4.5 liters left on his gas tank. I'm surprised.
Speaking of fuel, sorry to interrupt.
No, go for it.
Speaking of fuel, and I wanted to touch on this a second ago, when you guys are talking about the possibility of Ratha being able to catch back up to the field. Now, it's probably been about 10 laps since he pit last, but even a couple minutes ago, he was already down to 40 liters, and that was probably only maybe 5 or 6 laps after he pit. So he's really going to struggle to be able to catch back up if he's not taking full loads of fuel, unless his tires are absolutely shot in that amount of time as well. I don't know if he's just straight running alternates back to back to back, or what the
it could just be
what
the
his plan is.
duration of the duration of Ozzy just kind of scrapes the edge as powers into the pits. I think everyone's kind of making their pits, F1 as well, but I think he's doing it just by how long his tires are lasting, for the most part. So
yeah,
it's possible he's not taking a full load of fuel as well. I'm not sure. I wasn't paying attention to Rafa.
I don't think he is. That's the guts of my comment. I don't think he's taking full fuel. I don't think he did the last time, at least.
And that's probably part of the reason why he's running a full second or so quicker than most people on track right now. Except for the fact that Frank just ran 1:11.7 and Ratha did a 1:12.8, so he might be on the last legs of his own stint here. Tires-wise, perhaps. Because his fuel is still looking pretty alright.
Yep, 28 liters. He had some traffic there that lap. We'll have to see what he does around the next time. Because when he's on pace, he's like high 10s, low 11s.
I will throw out that I find it interesting that Frank's fuel or oil temperature is in the 230, 240 range. That's quite high. I think he's benefiting from a slightly closed radiator here.
I thought that was normal. So I didn't even know about that. As it looks like Frank is making his way into the pits. I thought that was just a normal temperature for these cars to be running at.
I've been pretty conservative with my my radiator. Maybe I need to be a little bit more aggressive now that I see Frank running up near 230s. My average temperature during my stint was about 205. I was pretty tame, I thought, on my radiator level choice.
I think you're pretty close to most of them. But there's a couple, Ratha and Frank are both 220.
Yeah, Power's running right now at 207. He might have a slightly more open radiator.
Which might be the way that they're just planning to run, which we saw at Indy 500. And maybe it's not even an issue here. Maybe you can get away without losing your engine power, as I know that does seem to happen once you hit a certain spot on the engine wear location.
I believe it is at 30 points engine damage you will start to lose power.
Okay, so
And we see, if I go down the list here, F1's running at a completely temperate 199, under 200 on his oil temperature. So he's probably has too close or too open a radiator.
Yeah, I've actually seen him as low as 180 here at the last lap, depending on what section of the track he's at.
And that's another interesting thing that kind of brings up with how closed down Frank's radiator may or may not be. We have no way of telling, besides the fact that he's running quite a bit higher temperatures than everybody else. You save fuel when you run that low radiator because you have less resistance. This may be how Frank is A, putting in very, very fast times, but B, also outlasting Ratha on his stints.
Very true. Could be.
Oh, you know what? I'll self-correct. F1 was just in the pit, so that probably explains why his temps weren't.
Oh, fair enough. I must not have been paying that close attention.
So we've completed 47 laps, or the leader has completed 47 laps here. The Indy Road course, still 4 second, just under 5 second gap between Power and Frank.
Yeah, Power's closed it up just a little bit, running a little bit faster lap. I'm guessing Frank's out lap doesn't really count as a really good time. He ran a 134.
Yeah.
But Power's definitely holding him honest with pit strategy, I think, here. Where Frank is a bit faster on track, Power's strategy seems to be helping him in the pits due to the fact that Frank can't necessarily get away from him in the pits.
This is true. Power just took a full second out of Frank. He's taking more time out of Frank very quickly, actually.
But I tell you what, with that round of
he's stuck by the lap car.
Ratha went from about a minute back of Frank, and I think he's 46 seconds now.
Yeah, Ratha is up into third and has a pretty sizable gap to Oz. He does only have 16 leaders left, so he's definitely out of cycle compared to the leaders, so he'll have to pit here in the next, I was using about 3 liters. He'll have to pit in the next 5 or so laps. So maybe he can add a little bit more time, catch up to Power just a iota more. He is running about 2/10, 3/10 faster than that front 2. So he might be able to put a little extra on the clock, come into the pits, take whatever his strategy has been. I don't know if he's run the hards or the softs yet. You do have to run both compounds, so that will play into it. But if he can remain on those soft tires as we think he is, with the pace that he has, he may be able to maintain that third position. And if Power has an issue, he may be able to get second back.
It's very true, as it seems like Frank, depending on how this lap goes, he ran 112, which isn't bad, as both are kind of back onto pace, so it's going to be close, I think, between these two. I think Ratha will, if possible, if he has the ability, Ratha just ran a second faster on that lap, on his last lap compared to the 2 in front. So that kind of begs the question of, does he have that ability to maybe do that? But again, you gotta, this is the problem that, especially up here in the broadcast booth, we don't know. You have to run both compounds, but we can't see that. So with the tire
and we saw at Indy the black stripe tires, because you're only allowed to run the black stripes on the ovals. There's only one tire compound, so it's not that the game can't show it. It's just that the game has the glitch where you can only see the red tires.
Not to.
Yes. Either they chose not to put it in, or it's a glitch, which is unfortunate.
Which, by the sound of it, the glitch probably could have been fixed already, so I don't know what.
It was Ratha, according to the info feed, fastest first sector. Blazing first sector.
Power
22nd, 0.8.
Power runs a lot faster into the last lap. About 5 times faster. Because now he's... Wait a second, he's actually caught up to Frank. Frank is having an issue.
Yeah, he's really close to him.
Frank may be on the hard tires. He may have put on the hard tires to comply with the rules, and Power may be taking advantage of that right now and closing the gap up.
Especially now that, well, Doc apparently just retired, actually. I'll say because Doc went in the pits, but then Doc disappeared. So... he's gone.
We may hear from him yet.
Maybe.
Well, it's unfortunate. I hate to retire from the race. That's like my big MO. I hate retiring from a race because it's just like if you're still running, you still have a chance. You never know. Like, sure, you say it's a silly idea to think that the entire field will wreck out and you'll win, but it could happen. The chance is there. So as long as you continue to run and continue to say drive around, you'll A, improve your skills, and B, you'll still have a chance, however small, to maybe get that extra position or maybe get that extra like hot lap that you were looking for. Maybe like set your goal, reach your goal, whatever. So I'm really kind of like down on people who retire. I'm not gonna like say like, oh, he should have stayed in the race. Like, it's his own business, and he wasn't having fun. He was just struggling, whatever. I know Freak, you, just before the race, backed out to the fact that you were just not comfortable in the car. You were struggling, you were having issues, you didn't feel you had the pace, so that's totally fine, right? So I'm not upset about that. I just personally don't like to retire from races, and I'm upset by the fact that I had to retire due to my own stupidity. But
my thing too was, I mean, I didn't even just like remotely decide that, hey, I might run this until 2 hours prior, and then decided to try and make a tune in about an hour and a half, and it just wasn't going to happen.
Right, and that makes sense. When you put 2 weeks worth of practice or whatever, you put your practice in, and then you get to it, and then you retire. I kind of find that a little bit unfortunate. But who's to say?
Power really putting all the pressure here onto our leader, Frank. Power looking for that extra point, leading. Oh, he's probably actually lit a lap already, but
yeah, he has.
Power does have a penalty though, according to the little triangle.
That is not showing up for me. No penalty on my screen. I don't think so, but I'm not sure.
It's kind of popped up and gone away a couple of times.
Power's really looking here.
No, Wrath is in the pit, so he'll relinquish. Oh, Frank goes wide.
That was weird.
Frank goes wide, Power goes by.
Well, yeah, it's the glitch that got us.
The legs very badly there. I literally had Power going into a wall almost.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden it corrected itself and Power was ahead.
Because I'm not in the broadcast suite here, I'm just on the replay. On my screen, it just appeared that Frank outbroke himself, maybe locked up, and went wide going into that 90-degree right, coming into the final chicane complex. I don't know exactly what corner numbers those are.
Turn 12, which has been known to be an overtaking spot if you get a turn 10 correct. So
yeah, turn 12 is a really good spot to try and take someone on the inside. It kind of forces you to relinquish that position as well, because the wall right there on the outside and directly in front of you to the 90-degree corner. So if you like kind of try to fight it, it's just a bad deal all the way around.
Hey guys, to kind of get back to what we were talking about, Ratha's strategies, he left the pits with only 57 liters.
So it is his tires that he is basing this off of, which is very interesting. Once again, he's actually now only about, what would that be? About 35, 40 seconds off of Ozzy, so he's closed that gap up considerably since the last time he pit.
This is true, just kind of big question of he still needs to run the alternate tires.
He may have already run it. We don't know.
Well, by pit stop standards, this is his third pit, and 50,
Isn't that his fourth?
This is third, if I'm correct. Well, okay, third scheduled by looks of it. Fourth, he's had 4 with an unscheduled pit stop with the collision with.
Yeah, I think that was his.
That was pit stop number 4. Third scheduled, most likely by fuel and tire standards. So, but he still has not run that the primary, the black striped tire. If by just by his fuel numbers, because his fuel numbers have stayed the same throughout.
Right.
So
he may have run it in his first stint when he came in early. It might have been a strategy play on his, so that he would line up his fuel strategy with his tire strategy. That could possibly be what happened. But then again, he was pushing
running quick times. Though,
he was pushing Frank and Power up in that front group. So I'm not entirely sure. It looks like TextJet just had a little bit of lockup there and is out on the grass in turn 1, turn 2 complex. And Power has pulled a gap. Power is almost 4 seconds. Is 4 seconds up.
Frank
He's
really
pulling away from Frank.
Falling off, and oh, that's a lap car. I thought that was actually a position. I was like, that's crazy. It's crazy.
Naturally, Ratha with his lower fuel and possibly soft tires, running 10.8s all day long. 2 seconds faster than the front group there, and running 112 and 113.
Frank
so I think
makes a
it's safe to say that Power and Frank are both on the hard tires, and maybe Power's car is just a little bit more suited to the hards versus Frank's. We'll see here.
That could definitely be as Frank actually went off again in turn 12. So interesting for him. Seems to maybe be struggling, as you said, on the harder compound here.
Yeah, Frank just ran a 14.9. Probably one of the slowest laps we've seen from him all race, like qualifying and practice included.
How many laps of this race? If you could see at the top of the screen, it does show 81. Obviously, manual formation lap. We run 8. You're running 8. Back in English a little bit better.
We're working lap 56, correct?
Leaders on
Correct.
lap 56. Yes.
So that leads into another interesting strategy thing coming up here. A full stint running the hard tires, or maybe the softs if you can make them last, seems to last about 20-ish laps. So it'll be interesting to see when people start coming in here around the 60 lap mark for their final stop.
Very true.
And it looks like Frank will make it there. I'm interested to see if what Power's fuel situation is. Power looks like he'll make it. Ozzy, he'll probably make it to that 60 lap mark. Ratha is in an interesting situation here because Ratha has 43 liters of fuel, is running very quick times. We're unsure if he has taken the hard tire compound. So he might push it farther into that 60, that last 20 lap window, and see what he can eke out and maybe just run those last few laps on the hards and try and just squeak past Ozzy here for a third place finish.
It would be I think it's going to be very difficult for him just with pit stops and such, especially with the way he's running, especially then having to go full fuel into the hard tires, so it'll be an adjustment. I think he's going to be hard. It's going to be very hard for him to get up to that third place spot, I think. Especially since he is a lap down to the leader.
Yeah, I agree with your estimation there. I believe without a major
Mistake would be what
mistake or something happening to Ozzy here, I think he's going to be relegated to 4th place here. But Frank is pulling back on power here. It was up to about 9 seconds, and it's fallen back down to 7. So Frank's put in a little bit of a charge, but it looks like he may still have some issues on those hard tires. Been on a 12.8 the last lap. I feel like we haven't talked about F1 Racer and TextJet too much here.
No, they've just been quietly running their own race. TextJet just sounds by the indication.
Looks like he just hit the pits last lap with a 147, probably an out lap. So he might be in trouble here actually, because he might not make it to the end without an extra stop.
Yeah, so this is true, as he's down another lap. At this point, you're just gunning yourself to the end here, just trying to push those laps in. Same with F1, just very much. I think did F1 had a collision at some point.
Power went wide there, off the track a little bit.
Oh.
Lost some time to Frank, back down to 5 seconds.
As lap 60, we got 21 laps remaining. This is kind of in that window of questioning who's got what tires, since you can't see it. This is what we've been talking about for most of the last 15-20 minutes now, is whose tires is going to fall off the most. It looks like in the grand scheme of things, everyone's still racing at that, within that 112 area. Besides Ratha, who's running high 111s.
Ratha did just post a 111.9. He might have cooked his tires just a little bit too much, or had an incident that last lap there.
I think he was actually coming up on a lapped car.
This is possible. He has taken quite a big chunk out of Ozzy, though, almost 5 seconds in the last couple laps.
Gonna get a nice stretch. Who is... Power is now leading. No, Power was always leading the race. I got really confused there for a second. Who is as we see Power trying to get by a lapped car here. That is, I have no clue whose car that is.
What, that's in front of Power?
Yes, that's... Yeah.
That is
that's
TextJet.
That's Tex.
Ah, okay.
Tex has the other ABC sponsored car, number 41.
Just go wide there, finally Power getting through. Probably gonna lose a little bit of time there. But it seems like Frank's still falling back here, actually. Most likely another area. He's now fallen down to 9. So actually, he's caught in traffic, is what it is. Or more interesting enough, can we get an eye on Ratha?
Uh-huh.
Ratha is actually, and with F1 Racer, either putting pressure on Frank here to unlap himself, which he's going to do. Frank's gonna go wide, let him unlap himself. which does kind of confirm that Ratha most likely is on that faster tire. So
I'm suspicious though, because he is running comparable times now to the rest of the group. At a previous lap up at 12:3, everyone seems to be kind of falling off. No more 11s in this group.
So could that actually be?
It could just be he was scorching his hard tires to try and run those 11s. And we'll see him dip in here to the pits shortly to try and round out his final stint.
That'd be interesting to say the least, as he's got nothing to lose with another pit stop, since F1 Racer is 2 laps down to him.
Yeah,
and
he will have to stop. This is
yes,
a given. Everyone here has not made their final stop.
I guess that's to see what happens with, as again, I guess we could say those Ratha's lap times are falling off, more or less, because he actually, that for the majority of that lap, he was not stuck behind, but he was behind Frank, and who's behind F1 Racer, so we'll see. This lap will be the one that makes the most difference, to see if he is just losing a lot of time behind those slower cars, I guess, which aren't all slower, since Frank is relaxing in second at this point.
Oh, Power's in the pits.
Power does jump into the pits to put Frank back up into the lead. An early pit stop actually from Power, so he's definitely trying to laps. What are we? That's 16, 17 laps to the end. That seems to be the amount of laps that the soft tires are doing.
Oh, he does not take a full stint of fuel. He only takes 61 liters. That might be enough. We'll have to keep an eye on that, as F1 is in the pits now.
F1 Racer has received a penalty, though, on my screen. If we look at the timing, see, he has a 10-second penalty for most likely
Speeding.
once again speeding the pit lane. I don't know if he's trying to serve that or not, or what the situation is.
Unfortunately, I do not believe
Also,
Ozzy gets one. Ooh, that
That's
brings Ratha a little bit closer to being able to get by Ozzy here with an additional 10-second penalty on Ozzy there.
people not abiding by the rules.
You gotta hit that pit limiter button. You can't be too hasty. Definitely hurts to get that 10-second penalty.
Very true. Now the big question here. Frank's out of still pit. We know this. Question is he going to try and eke out? Looks like is he going to try and eke out?
I think it's going to go
last of his stint there.
My money is Frank's going to pit this lap. Doing 13s doesn't serve him any good, while Power most likely switched back onto the softs or stayed on the hards. Well, we won't officially know. Ratha, currently now in third due to Oz going into the pits. So we'll see how big of a gap Ratha can pull here with his 17.2 liters with an additional 10-second penalty on Ozzy. That puts Ozzy a solid 30 seconds net behind Ratha here.
As Frank dives into the pits.
Frank's in the pits. I'm interested to see how much fuel he takes here. If he takes a conservative amount of 70, just not gonna
He's got to be
worry
quick
about
because
it.
he still has to get down the pit lane, and he's got a little while to go.
Right,
Why
and
is it not showing tires going on for these guys? I'm very confused.
No, it doesn't.
Very weird. I think that's...
he takes 58, so he does not take the full load. He probably has it calculated out.
Where's power? Can we get an eye on
Power is coming up about 6 seconds back, so he definitely might get by him, but this is gonna be
extremely close.
probably within 5 or 6 seconds from pit exit for Frank here.
No, there goes power. Nice
Power.
and clear, and Frank still has a little while.
Frank has a while.
He's still got a while, and that's power being super conservative, sitting back, going by his pit strategy, his race strategy, not making any mistakes, no major mistakes,
Yeah, a couple
and just
wide corners.
waiting for mistakes from the guys up in front, which obviously there have been some larger mistakes, and now Power has 15 laps to go and has a 14-second lead.
This may
still has to
be
pit,
a strategy call on Power's front. I believe Power was running those hard tires that last stint. He may have just not taken tires and tried to save himself just that much time in the pits. And it looks like it's paid off for him, because going in, he only had about a 6-second advantage. Now he has a 14-second advantage.
Yeah, but we'll see if Frank took the alternates and can cut some time off that.
Well, it looks to be quickly happening because we went down from 15. Oh, no. Frank seems to be having another issue because he's now dropped 3 seconds on my screen, which makes no sense. It's a straight line. Project Cars 2 relative time is really paying off here. As a very, very weird relative time right now. It's very much fluctuating, not very much straightness to it, as it's now back down to 13 seconds now, but... very much moving as Ratha.
I bet Ratha pits this lap.
As long as he can make it by. This is probably your. If it's me, I would have pit last lap to avoid this lap issue.
Yeah.
Which is going to cost him probably a second. So.
I agree with Ratha pitting this lap. I'm assuming he's probably not going to take a full load here of fuel, which might actually help him because Ozzy looks to have taken a full load. He has 60 just about, so he will have sat in that pit stall for quite a bit longer than Ratha will, so we'll see what happens.
Ozzy's only 24 seconds down, and we see the gap between Power and Frank. Power was 30 seconds down, if I'm pretty sure, so that already means that's going to net, as Ratha does not pit, and Ozzy's on a fresh set of tires. I think that actually just might seal the deal right there for Ratha for 4th place, just by the pit stall, just by the length of the pit lane. I don't think he's going to have that ability.
Keep in mind, though, the 10-second penalty also on Ozzy, so we have to add another 10 seconds to the 20-ish seconds.
This is true, okay.
So we have a 30-second gap plus whatever time that Rafa makes up on Ozzy in the laps. He's running pretty comparable times to Ozzy at the moment, so he's not actually gaining much on the track at the moment, but if he does dip into the pits and takes considerably less fuel, if he takes a half as much fuel as Ozzy did, he may have a chance here.
He has to pit this lap, though.
He does.
I don't think you have the ability. I don't know how many liters of fuel do you use a lot.
It was about 3. I was seeing.
No, he's gonna dip if he's gonna be just to be. Well, I would hope. I've seen some more aggressive, and he's being aggressive. He's going to try and stay out on those tires for as long as possible.
That leads me to believe he might be on the softs then if he's prioritizing his tires over his fuel at this situation.
With the lap times he's running, Frank, by the way, I just want to put that out there. Frank's running a 1:10.6. I think Frank's run the fastest lap of the race on that last lap with a 1:10.6.
I believe Rafa did a 1:10.5. It's a
what? A what? What's the fastest lap?
Rafa ran a 1:09.1.
What was that?
Is what my race feed is saying.
Oh, wow. Okay, well. At this important stage, he's run the fastest lap that anyone's had run. That's a very good way to cut that. Not cut, but run over that curb. That must not have been fun in the cockpit. So this is going to be the big tall tale.
This has to be a pit from Ratha. If Ratha misses the pit here, he will have a similar situation as to what I did.
But he won't make it even around to the pit box. He'll make it most likely.
I made
down
it with one.
straight.
To be fair, I made it into the pits with one. I did stall out right before I got to my pit box, though.
No penalty.
We'll see what he takes.
Properly. As just the time ticks away here. Aussie, as we can see in the... Actually, it just jumped. It's jumping up. This is going to be the big question he's got. What is that, 12 laps to run? He's already out of fuel. He's already done. He's got to go. 45.7. But he wasted at least 2 seconds just sitting there while everyone was done. Aussie's down the main straight. This is... unknowing to the pit box.
There's going to be about a 15-second gap again, I think, just like Power and Frank.
No, he's way down there. He's still got at least 200 meters. Yeah, this is...
yeah, barring any major incident from Ozzy at this point, I think Rafa is solidified in the fourth place
I also
here.
want to say that overall, though, well, it depends on...
I will say that the gap between F1 and Tex is now within 3 seconds. They're having a little battle at the back of the pack there for a top 5 finish.
No, they are not. Tex is ahead in the fact that F1 has a penalty.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no doubt. You're completely correct.
Alright, so there's
Ratha
a
already
17-second gap between Ozzy and Ratha. Was he just trying to stay...
Ratha completely getting out of the way of the driver
Frank.
in front there, and then Frank, not knowing how much space he had, kind of missed the chicane. He went over the curbs, but missed the chicane, in the grand scheme of things.
So Ratha has to make up 10 seconds in 10 laps.
Again, doable.
If he took the softs, if he had run the hards at some point during this race, he only had to do an out lap, 1 lap, and an in lap. He might have put the hards on the lap that he had contact with Doc. That may have been his hards. He might have been able to run softs the entire race without much incident.
That would actually make sense.
If he has the softs on and he's running with 42 liters of fuel, he will most likely catch. He most likely put some time on Ozzy here, so we'll see what happens.
He doesn't even really need to. I mean, he's only 5 seconds behind him, and Ozzy's got a 10-second penalty.
He's...
What? Ratha is 21 seconds down from Ozzy.
So he's 11 with the penalty.
No, he's not. Are you looking at the game monitor?
But it even shows all over the place. He's not that close. He's 21 seconds down.
Where are you looking, Leslie?
I really, I'm really confused there. Can we get where? Okay, so we know where he is. Go to Ozzy quickly. Ozzy's on the main straight. Ratha's at the back of. No, it's 20 seconds. Ozzy's on the main straight right now.
But it's still doable. It's still doable.
It still is. If you can be very, very quick.
He has. What is that? 9 laps? 8 laps left?
He doesn't. Because Power's on lap 73. These guys are on lap 72. So they're actually still down a lap, in theory.
Oh, so he does have one last lap.
Ratha has a lap less. He has to pass the leader because Ozzy is in front of Power. There's Power in the background. He's just appeared behind. Power now has to jump him and get in front. And then they'll be on the same lap, which will be done quickly here.
TextJet, even with Tom's or F1's 10-second penalty, TextJet is reasonably close with that 2-second gap.
Yeah, those two have been kind of stuck to each other for the majority of it. As we get.
Why does it always do this on Tom?
It does it on everyone, I've noticed. I don't understand it. There's this glitch that, not a glitch, but a camera that just directly points at the race instructor who waves the flag over the Indy sign. I don't know, it's really weird. Not something that should be in, but it is nonetheless. So Ratha Ratha actually slower than Ozzy on that last lap. So that's going to be interesting to see.
A little bit quicker that time through.
Yes, just I don't think he's got to make up a lot, and I think Ozzy's got to make a mistake or go wide somewhere for this to be possible. There's not and Ratha has used up every single one of his push to passes, so no boosts anywhere.
Yeah, and with only 7 to 8 laps left to go, Ozzy has 6 laps. He could use 1 a lap here and just maintain his gap.
Very true.
Frank still has 7 though. Frank might start using his to catch power here in these closing laps.
How many does Power have? Power
only has 3.
By their, yeah, as he's actually running 6/10 faster, but he's in there's only 6 laps remaining. He'd literally have to put in 2 seconds a lap faster than Power, and I think Power's kind of locked it down, to be honest. He needs to keep it nice and steady, no collisions with any lap cars. Everything needs to be perfect. Not perfect, but just kept at a consistent rate.
This is something that Power does very well. Power is, like, fast, but he's consistently fast. You'd be hard-pressed not to, like... He's very, very, very consistently fast. He's not, like, blazing, super-duper, like, Mondo fast out of the gate or whatever. He has pace. He's not the fastest driver on the track, but he's so consistent that it helps him. His pit strategy is always very good as well. So he usually wins it in the pits.
Yes.
Because we saw Frank and Ratha have full, like, 5 to 6 10-second faster laps than Power does during this race.
And he's still doing it. Frank is still putting those in.
Frank is. Frank's putting in, he just did 7/10 faster than Power that last lap, but too little too late, I'm afraid. We only have 5 laps remaining, I believe.
Yep.
Lap 76.
So, too little too late, but that lady has not waved the flag yet, so cannot put it against any mistake to happen, which actually is... Can we get an eye on... Get an eye on Power really quick, please. He just lost 3 seconds. Or again, it's the stupid Project Cars 2 relative. It jumped from 11 to 8. So I thought Power had a meltdown. But he had not. So
Power is coming up on the rear of Ozzy here. Lap traffic. So we'll see. I imagine Ozzy will let Power by. Those two are pretty close. Just sim racing buddies, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I know they work together pretty much on setups and stuff. And if I've heard correctly and seen.
Yes, no, they, most nights you'll see them on racing in P-Cars 2. Those two, Power and Ozzy, are probably some of the most dedicated in our group to Project Cars 2. You see them on most nights racing a myriad of cars and practicing their craft here.
Yes, for sure.
And it shows. Ozzy and Power are some of our quickest and most consistent members in the CanAm VRL.
You know, part that confused me was that for a while, Ratha was running low 112s, high 111s, and Ozzy was running high 112s and low 115s, yet the gap hadn't changed.
That's very weird. But also to just kind of point out, it looks like Ratha's most likely gonna just have to settle for fourth here. He's not making any ground up on Ozzy here, obviously.
Yeah,
with the help
which
of
is
the
just
fact
so
he's
confusing
following
to
the
me. Like, with the times that they're both running, like logically, Ratha should have made up more time by now.
Well, the question is, how much is this actually going to affect him? Because they're staying close together. This could actually be an issue for Ozzy in any downforce required corner.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, Ozzy's last lap was a 1:14.4.
So this could actually, like,
and he
especially
can't
right here.
rightfully pull a major move on power right now. Just
Well, no, he's going to continue following him.
yeah.
As Frank all of a sudden is once again putting in. He's now down to 8 seconds, but again, I think it's one of those little too late situations.
Yeah.
Mounting a charge, but once again, yeah. Can we switch over to Ozzy?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Power just spun out.
Shoot. Oh man, that's
You can't get back to the track. You gotta give it up.
We got a race right now.
Yeah. That just changed real fast.
Now it's a race. Look out. Frank is defending that inside line.
Oh, no reason to. As long as Power gave him that line at the end, or gave him the corner pretty much. Well, this just changed all aspects of this race.
It did. We got a shootout, and we have a possible fuel issue with Power, only with 12 liters remaining with 4 laps to go here.
No,
actually,
two.
No, it's 2 laps.
There's 2. We're
2 laps. I'm bad at math. I wasn't
math
good
is
at math in school.
math not the strong suit. Okay,
Not the
we
strong
still
suit, no
we still
doubt.
love you,
I was
dear.
better at chemistry, which is kind of similar to math, but who knows?
So now it's who's got.
Maybe Power's tires are just going right now, and that's what he's fighting.
He's been putting that kind of oversteer as he goes.
Oh, he does.
wide.
He locks it up there going into 12. Another thing to point out here on Power is he had 7 push-to-passes about 5 laps ago. He now only has 1.
Yep.
So he squandered those push-to-passes trying to keep Frank away. I think that was part of his goal here, was to just hold the gap.
Pit.
But unfortunately, I think it has hurt him.
Tex
Wait,
just pit. Tex just pit, and will now not acquire. I'm
I
assuming.
bet you it was through the fuel.
Yeah, a fuel issue, but now he's not going to acquire 5th place, which was his to have. As we sit on lap 80, Power's got to clean up these lines. I think these tires are most likely gone. He's going to have
And
one
being in
kick of
that
the
draft,
can.
it's very difficult just from driving these cars. Sitting directly behind the car is not an option. You do have to like work up slowly and surely, trying to get your way past on a deep braking zone. So it might be the only move I think Power can make here is get a run out of this last turn complex and down the front straight to number 1 on the push.
He's locked up it.
He's trying so hard right now. I think he's overdoing.
No, he's.
Not to mention, like, he definitely seems to be fighting his tires a lot.
Yeah, Frank has 2 push passes he can defend. I believe.
And
this
Aussie's
is...
just, or Power just used his.
Yep.
Which is not going to make. Wow, I literally said it. Commentators curse. Commentators curse, literally. But again, it's not really a curse when you make such an easy mistake that shouldn't have been made. That he just literally spun the rears.
Very uncharacteristic of Power
No,
to just light him up and go off the track there. And even that, if it was just like a little off, he might have still been able to correct with a few seconds lost. But it was a major off. You had to go all the way up onto the bank corner, turn 1 of the oval, to get back onto the track.
Let's go out to far cam on Frank if we can.
He has closed up a little bit. He's only about 4/10 back. He might try to put something together here. He saved his push to pass, but I think Frank knows that
unless he's got to get something magical in this corner.
Yeah, it's either Frank makes a mistake or
which doesn't look to be, as Frank wins here at Indy. Wow, you gotta be kidding.
Frank cleans up at Indy once again.
Can we get an eye on Ozzy and Ratha really quick?
It's what? Is that actually accurate to be just a 6
16
going on
seconds.
with this? Okay. Yeah, these gaps are just doing some weirdness.
Yeah, the
Frank
gaps are
kind
now,
of celebrating, kind of. Oh no, definitely not. Okay, I'm not gonna say anything on that. What a great race by Power. Just super disappointing that a mistake in that last corner with 2 laps to go.
unfortunate for Power, but Frank ran a really good race that whole race. Very little mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, the fact that Frank was close enough to take advantage of something like that only speaks to how good his race was.
Yeah, and
If
Power.
he was any farther back, he would have not done. I mean, half a second, and that gap was not his.
Yeah, and barring a minor or more minor incident from Power there, if it was only a slight off, it may not have fallen his way.
Yep.
With a gap 0.57, 0.5077.
Alrighty, everyone. Appreciate you coming out. Great race we had here. That's gonna be it. Enjoy the rest of your evenings. Next race is we are unknown at the moment of what's going to happen. I have yeah. So enjoy the rest of your evenings and goodbye.